Yes, definitely. I think the African School of Regulation can achieve what the Florence School of Regulation has achieved over the last 20 years or so in a much shorter period of time. It didn't take us 20 years to get where we are today, in a sense that we could have done it in a much shorter period of time if we knew already at that time where we wanted to get. But this has been a process that accompanied also the development of regulation in Europe. Regulation has become more complex with more goals to achieve over the years, and that obviously has required changing the approach also from the Florence School of Regulation. We started with training and with one workshop series, and now we have research, which we didn't have to start with. We have several series of events and we have still training, and we try to combine these. So the African School of Regulation would benefit from the experience that the Florence School of Regulation gained over these years, and also we would be happy to support the African School of Regulation, try to transfer the experience not only when it comes to how to approach regulation, but how to organize the involvement of several stakeholders to try to enhance understanding of regulatory matters and regulatory approaches. I think the Florence School of Regulation is quite unique in bringing together policy debate, training, and research. There are other establishments, other institutions in Europe that are very good in training, very good in research, organized policy debates. I think probably one of the unique features of the Florence School of Regulation is that we try to combine and feed the results of one of the pillars into the other ones. And this is, I hope, something that we could transfer or inspire the African School of Regulation to follow the same track, clearly adapting it to the needs and to the goal of Africa and the African energy sector. Yes, definitely. The Florence School of Regulation has already started a number of years ago to look and to act beyond the borders of the European Union. We are present, for example, in India. We are in the process of signing a memorandum of understanding with the State Grid Energy Research Institute in China. We have a letter of agreement with the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific to try to share our knowledge, our experience, and to gain from the knowledge of experience of partners, international partners beyond the border of the European Union. So this is very much our mission, and we are very, very happy to be part of this initiative and to support the African School of Regulation, and hopefully also to learn from the development in Africa, something that we could then use in Europe, but even more probably be able to use it in other areas where we are present and where we work. And this is also very much of interest to the European University Institute. The president was recently in Africa meeting with some African universities. So also the European University Institute is going beyond the borders of the European Union and try to take a more global perspective. There is always something to learn from exchanging experiences across different regions, and if anything else, to avoid mistakes. We've done a lot of mistakes in Europe, and we hope that we at least be able to tell other countries, other communities, other areas, other regions, how to avoid these mistakes. Well, I can think of at least 3, but probably we will discover more ways in which the Florence School of Regulation can be of help to the African School of Regulation. The first one is to transfer the knowledge on how to do things, how we've done things in Europe. They will have to be adapted to the African situation and the condition of the energy sector in Africa. But we've learned over time how to organize events, how to involve stakeholders. I think something unique of the Florence School of Regulation is to try to bring together academics, policymakers, and regulators, and companies. Which is in a neutral environment where they're happy to discuss openly, because there is no specific interest involved here. Here, our only interest is to try to advance knowledge and share this knowledge. So this is something that we can clearly help with. We can also sort of help with providing material. We have a large library of material that clearly so far is based on Europe and other regions where we are active at the moment, but could also be of interest to the African School of Regulation to start having a repository of material on energy regulation. And at the end of the day, as we've seen over the years, the problems are fairly similar. They may be addressed differently, but the problems are fairly similar. So knowing how the problems have been addressed in other jurisdictions is always helpful. And the third one, at least in the immediate future, until the African School of Regulation is transferred to the host institution or institutions in Africa, I think to help with technical support, with our multimedia team, with our administration, etc., so that the staff of the African School of Regulation can focus on delivering on the substance of what the African School of Regulation is charged with, which is sharing knowledge, bringing people together to debate policy and regulatory matters, and to do a bit of research. Well, that would be interesting because we will have to see how the African School of Regulation develops. But if it develops in a way which is similar to us, then I can see a lot of opportunities for exchanging knowledge, exchanging experience, debating, because some of the issues are global. And if I think, for example, on how to deal with electric mobility, this is a challenge in Europe, this is a challenge elsewhere in the world. So I don't see any reason why we should not be working together in trying to see how best to regulate, for example, this aspect of the energy sector. So I think there are endless opportunities, and it's really up to us jointly, the African School of Regulation and Florence School of Regulation, to read them. But if the African School of Regulation developed in a similar way, this opportunity would be even more obvious and greater. Well, as I said, lessons are always interesting. Experience gain in one jurisdiction is always interesting to avoid mistakes and maybe to take good ideas. Some of the challenges are global, some of the challenges are regional. At the moment, the prices, for example, the energy prices in Europe are much higher than the energy prices, for example, in the US. And therefore, the problem we're facing in Europe are different from the ones that they are facing in the US. Nonetheless, I mean, talking across between US and Europe is still very important. And I think, again, some issues that different jurisdictions face, which are similar, and I believe that talking is always, and exchanging and sharing experience is always good. So I really hope that this will be a very constructive cooperation. And I think the fact that the Florence School of Regulation has been charged with helping the African School of Regulation to start working and to transfer to the host institution in Africa, I think is a good starting point for the future cooperation.